York's classic rock, Q1043.
7:05. Ken Daneyko is with us here at Q104.3. And he and Shelley were just talking about the panic.
The panic sets in after one game, Kenny. One game.
Look, you always want to get off to a good start and win your first game of the season. You give Philadelphia Flyers credit. They worked hard and they want to win too. And they got the job done. So we move on, but it's one of 82 and you hope they continue to get better. We had a great preseason, but that's out the window. You just got to build on something. Sometimes it takes teams with different players and everything else a little longer than others to find some chemistry. They hope to find it tomorrow night in their home opener. The Devils do.
Yeah, as they take on the Detroit Red Wings.
Right. But Kenny, the Rangers fans are rubbing it in because they're 2-0. They're 2-0.
Well, I'm sure they are, Shelley, and rightfully so. I'll tell you, they had a great run last year, and this is a good hockey club. I cover the game, obviously not just the Devils, but the league on NHL Network, as well as doing the games on our wonderful MSG network, just like the Rangers and Islanders. And this is a team that's pretty stacked, good in goals. So they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. You have to hunt them down if you're the Devils and try to win your own games. But they're a good team right now. But let's wait and see.
Well, speaking of the Islanders, their fans after last season are pretty enthused, but then again, they're in a panic now too.
Yeah, they lost too. And then they couldn't get home from the game because there weren't enough trains. So that was rubbing salt into the wound. It was crazy.
But it's the Detroit Red Wings. You know, that's my hometown.
I know.
When I was a little boy, I went to Olympia Stadium, the Red Wings games, you know.
Are you still?
I'm from Detroit.
But
yeah.
you're still a fan?
I was born across the border in Windsor, Ontario. So
I used to go to Windsor a lot when I was a kid. It's just south of Detroit.
Yeah, about 5 miles across the water there, right?
People don't understand that to go from downtown Detroit to Canada, you go south to go to Windsor, Ontario. So when you were a kid, you were a fan of what team?
Toronto Maple Leafs, believe it or not, because I moved way out west to Edmonton, Alberta at a very young age. So I always say I grew up in Edmonton, and that's kind of my hometown is where you grow up. But so my dad was transferred early, but I was a baseball guy. I liked the Detroit Tigers. My dad took me to a couple games when I was real young. I was a big baseball guy, but I was a Toronto Maple Leaf fan really growing up, actually.
Well, the last NHL game that I went to was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was the Coyotes hosting the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm telling you, half of that arena were Canadiens fans. I mean, that whole place was just filled with people dressed in their Montreal Canadiens gear.
Maybe the retirees, they moved there
yes.
like everyone else, right?
Oh, Shelley, absolutely. The transplanted Canadians, or living there in the winter with that beautiful weather. So you get a lot of fans. That happens in Florida as well. But yeah, so the Canadians, well, it's a religion up there. We know that as far as hockey. And hey, we want to get a buzz around here about all our local teams. Certainly my Devils, we expect to be much improved. We want to be much improved. And we'll see how it goes tomorrow starting against the Red Wings. But in my lifetime, I want to see all three teams make the playoffs one time here, because that's what creates buzz. That's what creates rivalries. So let's see all three of them make the playoffs one year here. I know that's a long ways away, maybe, who knows, but that's what I always hope for.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Kenny Daneyko, what are your predictions for our Devils this season?
I'm optimistic, Shelley. I mean, look, it's always wait and see. We look like we're a much improved team. The goaltending has to be improved from last season. We know that, and I think it will be. Game one didn't work out the way they wanted it to, obviously. But I just think if we're playing meaningful games, February, March, in the playoff hunt, it's tough to win. It's tough to even get in the playoffs in this league. The Metropolitan Division's tough. The Eastern Conference is tough. But they got to be ready and mentally ready and believe they're ready to take that next step and be a team that can contend for a playoff spot and certainly play some meaningful games when it counts. And that's usually the month of March as the season winds down in April.
Ken Daneyko is with us at Q104.3. Now, Ken, of course, you are a Devils legend. You're a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. The Devils are your team. You are the Devils color analyst on TV, as well as doing your work on NHL Network. Since you obviously have a deep emotional connection to the Devils and you will love them till you take your last breath, how difficult is it in your role as a broadcaster to maintain objectivity?
Well, Jim, that's a great question, man. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, because when you're there as long as I have been, whether as a player in the organization or in the community with the fans, yes, which that's what it's all about for me, is the fans of our great game. But and Devils fans have supported us, treated us like gold, myself included. And yeah, we gave them something to cheer about, a lot to cheer about over the years and winning. But I reflect 10 years down the road how difficult that is to do. And it's hard for me at times. Look, I love the game. I'm passionate about the game. I call it like I see it to the best of my ability. And yeah, when they're not playing well, you've got to give it to your team a little bit in a good way. It's not about ripping these guys. I've been through it. But when you make a bad play, bad pass, you talk about it. But it rips my heart out, Jim. You're absolutely right. I want them to have success because I was fortunate to play on some great teams that knew what it took to win. So sometimes I want to jump out of the booth, jump on the ice. My heart says I can still do it. My legs say different because I have a tough time in a men's league, but I get pretty fired up, no question about it. But that's what, for me, it's all the passion. And I try to bring that to the broadcast. But I'll tell you, I've gotten a little more even keeled over the years of doing the color analyst for the Devils. But I will tell you, it pains me when we struggle. It pains me when we don't win hockey games. That's in my DNA. It's in my blood. Devils, red and black all the way, baby. That's been me for years. And of course, I wouldn't be human if it didn't hurt me. I tell you, I came home from, I want to say it was around 2009, I'll say quickly. I wasn't doing the color, but I was doing in between periods and pregame and all that stuff. And I think they had game 7 against Carolina at home in the playoffs, up 2-1 late in the game. Well, Carolina scored 2 quick goals, which shocked the building to win the series. I got in my car. I had tears, and my then soon-to-be wife looked at me and she goes, I've never seen anything like you. You haven't played in 6-7 years and you're bawling like a baby. And I said, I can't help it. I can't help it. It's in my DNA. So I don't know if I bawl now, but that loss was devastating to me because I root for them too. And just like when I was a player, I know I'd be just as satisfied or gratified watching these guys have success because I want to see the fans fired up as well because they've been patient and they want to see a good team this season.
Jim, that was the year of the sacrificing the Devil's thumb to the hockey gods.
Do I have the right year, Shelley? Do I have the right
year? Yes. I was with you. I mean, I sacrificed my lucky Devil's thumb. It got stuck in a tree in Tribeca Park, and then that tree was destroyed during Hurricane Sandy. Yeah. It was like,
Yeah, it was like yesterday for me, but
divine intervention.
Well, that's what sports is: the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Well, Ken, you mentioned a men's league, so you still play?
No, I don't play in a men's league. I do play in a charity games and events, and I love to go out there. There's no exercise like it. Hockey is the best, and I love the camaraderie. I was
just trying to imagine if you were in a men's league, how intimidating.
Oh my God, yes.
Jim, it's a lot different than even 10 years ago where it was flying around pretty good or a little quicker back then. And as the years go by, you're starting to move slower and slower. I went to Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada this summer, played like 4 games in 2 days, and I hadn't played in, probably a couple of years, and over COVID, played with a bunch of former National Hockey League players, some greats. Paul Coffey was there, and the great Wendell Clark from Toronto, and oh gosh, Darian Hatcher, guys that I battled against, and guys that you didn't really particularly like when you were on the ice. And then you all get together and you reminisce and you bust each other's chops, as you know. And we had a blast, and it was for a great cause, for heart disease awareness there in Canada. And the fans love it. But again, my wife came there with me. She took a video of me playing, and I felt we were flying, because you have your balance, you have your hands. And I watched and I go, we're really moving that slow? Come on.
I understand you have a pair of tickets for us.
Yes, absolutely.
As the Devils take on the Red Wings tomorrow at Prudential Center. Tickets are on sale, by the way, at Ticketmaster.com. And so let's give them away.
Yes.
Ken, pick a number.
Pick a number.
Pick a number.
You want me to say it out loud, right? It's not just a secret.
Say it out loud.
Well, where else am I going to go? What other number would I pick? Number 3.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. We'll take caller number 3 at 888-872-1043. Pre-game coverage gets underway at 6:30 on MSG Network, or you can stream it on MSG Go as the Devils return to the ice for their home opener. That's 7:00 tomorrow night. And also we welcome, and I guess you welcome, a new friend, Bill Spalding, to the booth.
Yes, I'm fired up for Bill. He's a passionate hockey guy. He's so excited for this opportunity for him. We all love Cans, but he moved on, and Bill Spalding, I think, is going to do a great job. Can't wait for tomorrow night to get it going. He's enthusiastic. He's a young guy with great pipes, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
and but the game, it moves so fast. It takes an incredibly skilled play-by-play person to pull off hockey.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jim. I mean, it is a tough job, but these guys nowadays, I mean, it's amazing how polished they are at a young age. Bill's no different. So I'm really looking forward to the call tomorrow night, our home game against the Red Wings. Home opener. So if you're not at the arena, if you're at the arena, I'm always out in the open. We got a great vantage point where we watch the game. I tell fans to come by, say hello, engage with them. But if you can't be at the game, watch us on MSG Networks. Absolutely. We're looking forward to the call. We're looking forward, Shelley.
Yeah.
To a
Let's
win.
go,
Let's go.
Devils.
Jim,
And
I'm
Tony,
sorry.
And
If that's your hometown Red Wings.
Yeah, I know. Tony from Edison is a big Devils fan. He's caller 3, and Tony's on the line. Tony, say hello to one of the all-time greats.
How you doing, Mr. Daneyko?
Hey, Tony, congratulations, man. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and bring the home team, our guys, a little bit of luck, okay?
I hope so. I'll have my jersey on, and I'll have my brother-in-law, who actually is a Devils fan club member. So,
all right,
nice.
That's cool. So, Tony, you stay on the line, and we will set you up. And Ken, thank you for getting up early and spending time with us here at Q104.3.
Shelley, Jim, always my pleasure. Love you guys, and thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, we can do this again, maybe at the end of the year when we're in the playoff hunt, guys.
Oh, yeah. From your mouth to God's ear.
New York's classic rock, Q104.3.